All right, it's been a while since I've done one of these. It's been a couple weeks, but there's a lot to unpack. So, while we were on our trip, we got the call saying that we got the trailer. And since we've been back, it's been one money order after another, making sure everybody is paid what they're supposed to be paid in order to transition into the trailer park. And we're also in the process of actually moving. Mike obviously has more stuff than I do. All of my stuff is in my room, so I could have that all packed in a day. So when it comes time to physically move everything over to the trailer, obviously I'm going to be fully on board or fully on deck to make all that happen. But it's really a lot of stuff we have to do a little bit of downsizing. We're trying to get rid of some stuff. And eventually we are going to get a little shed for the trailer, for the grounds, so that way we can store some stuff. It's a process. Everything is a process. One thing I've had to learn over the years is nothing is ever as quick or as overnight as the movies would like us to believe. There's no musical montage of me and Michael packing. There's no hip 90s song or some funky instrumental music while we stare at the lake for 5 minutes. That's a nod to all the indie films that do that, in case you were wondering. Just gonna adjust that a tiny bit. There we go. So yeah, obviously if you've seen some of my more recent content, the cruise was fantastic. I've kind of gotten past the point of reliving it. It was a great cruise. It was a great trip. I think we all had a lot of fun, but it's one of those things where so many things happened quickly. Like, we had the cruise booked long before we got the news that the trailer would be available to us, and we didn't expect everything to happen. A lot of it happened so quickly, and a lot of it took its sweet time. So that's where things get kind of frustrating, because you're always in that rush to get everything done, and then it's the hurry up and wait, basically. So yeah, no, I mean, the cruise was awesome. I think the cruise was a great end to the chapter of our lives before this new one starts over with the trailer. I think it was great to be able to get all of that out of my system. Granted, when I got back to work, so much of that got undone because work being work. I got to adjust to a lot of my coworkers' BS as well. But I'm hoping to be able to do this in the new trailer very soon. The real challenge for me every day is not shaking it up with people at work. Like, I'm not going out of my way to have problems with them, but unfortunately they're not going out of the way not to have problems with me. It's very much a one-way street. And as long as they're supported by the management, and as long as they're able to get away with stuff, there's not a heck of a lot I can do. So I'm trying to find that careful balance between caring about my job and not letting what they do get to me. I mean, we have a new employee, we have a new associate who started in toys. He's a bit older than me, and I caught him doing something that you're not really supposed to do, so I tried to explain it to him that we don't do things that way. But instead of just stopping the thing he was doing, he explained to me why he did it. I didn't ask for an explanation. This isn't a police interrogation. I'm not interviewing you before the trial or before the execution. I just want you to stop doing the thing that you're doing, because it's not how we're supposed to do it. And unfortunately, he's been trained by people who are also doing it the wrong way. And that's one of the problems I've always had. Like, the new people get trained by the new people pick up the bad habits of the older ones, and that's why nothing ever improves. And of course, if I try to bring these things to the attention of the proper parties, it's always, oh, we can't change things overnight. Why don't you just go find another job? I don't understand that mentality. Like, I show up to work, I adhere to the training that I have been forced to, I've literally been forced to sit in front of hours of these training videos telling me how to do this job. and these other people just do whatever they want. And the management doesn't even know what that training involves. Half of them were grandfathered into the new process, so they didn't have to take all these new training videos and crap like that. And look, I work in the toy department, so if you do something in the grocery department that's not right, I don't give a shit, because what you do in the grocery department doesn't affect me in the toy department. But when you're in my freaking department, I know I'm not a supervisor, but I work there, and I care about what the toy department looks like. I want people to be able to find things they're looking for without getting hurt. I want everything to look right so that when we have visitors, it looks like we care and we don't get marked down or whatever. I know I take my job seriously, but I don't understand why you don't want more people to come to work with that energy. If you come to work with the energy of, I want to do everything right the first time, you don't have to rush whenever we have a visitor. Like, as soon as we get an announcement that somebody, like this actually happened recently, we got an announcement that somebody was coming down from one of the other stores and they'd be here within an hour, and everybody in the store was shitting themselves trying to get the zoning perfect and trying to make sure there was nothing on the floor and making sure the top stock looked right. And all I'm wondering is, why can't we have that energy every day? If we had that energy every day, we wouldn't have to be in that state when we do have visitors. And what's going to happen one day if somebody just shows up without an announcement? You know, there's no hard and fast rule that says somebody from the corporate office can't just show up. And believe it or not, doing my job the right way makes sure I still have a job. And so I'll just never understand why people prefer laziness over actual attentiveness. Like, yeah, let's do things the laziest way possible because it's easier. That shirt wasn't meant to be instructions. But anyway, I know I shouldn't rant about work when it's my day off. I did a pretty good job. I did not talk about work once while I was on the cruise. I mean, it came up a few times. It'd be a great place to work if it wasn't for my coworkers. It really would. But I don't know. Sometimes, even though these are people who are some of these people are older than me, but they still act like we're in middle school. They still act like, if something is wrong and I point it out to them, they're like, "Oh, well, I didn't do it. I wasn't accusing you." If somebody shits on the floor and I point that out, I'm not accusing you of shitting on the floor, but there's still fecal matter on the floor and it needs to be cleaned up. I just don't know some days. All right, well, the good news is we got the trailer and we're making progress moving in there. I also have some paperwork to deal with for the propane. I could have talked about that. Michael's credit took a bit of a dive recently. In fairness, he has more bills than I do. My finances have remained fairly simple, so it's been easier to get my credit up. So we had to use, originally when we signed up for the propane, if we signed up under his credit, we would have had to pay all this money for installation and all this other stuff that I don't fully understand. But because my credit is closer to 700, we applied with my credit and they're willing to waive all those fees and stuff like that. So I think we're only going to have to pay for the refill process, however that works. I've never lived in a place where I've had to pay 100% for the fuel. I've been renting all my life. This will be my first time as a homeowner. So there's a lot of, obviously, when you're owning a home, there's a different set of dynamics. And I'm gonna learn it. I swear, I'm gonna learn it. I'm gonna figure it all out. But there we go. Thanks for following. Thanks for subscribing. Thank you for sharing this with a friend. Thank you for watching my shorts. I've actually got up to just over 400 subscribers. Not bad for 3 years. I'm working hard to get more of those subscribers. The shorts seem to be the lowest hanging fruit, so there we go. Anyway, have a great day, be safe, treat each other with dignity and respect.